What's happening, fam? L.A.R. movement still moving. Book is entitled Lessons from a Non-Custodial Father at Amazon, Kindle, and Create Space. A link will be in the description box below, as usual. This video is entitled Black Men Are Taking Inventory. Got that comment from Edward Anderson when we was on a hangout addressing black Americans with black immigrants versus black immigrants, and to a degree. And what was happening is, with some of these conversations, black men are taking inventory of America, of immigrants, of our women, and I think it's making people uncomfortable. And I was watching something last night that was telling. There's a clip of 2 Chainz and Wale on the Most Expensivest show, and on this particular show, it was like this lady was a matchmaker, but she was a matchmaker for like high-end people. So she said her prices started from $150,000 to $500,000. And 2 Chainz would say, "Oh, she pimping," and Wale was like, don't say that." He was like Trump more protective, and he was like, "You're stereotyping this lady." And 2 Chainz looked at him like, "We get stereotyped all the time, so we gonna stereotype people." And I think that's the thing about the inventory. Like when we sitting here having these conversations, and we're looking at our experiences, and we're finding out online our collective experience, we started taking inventory. And with the accumulation of information, people are starting to get nervous because it seems like we were late to the party. Everybody was on code. Everybody was about self. Everybody had an agenda, and everybody used us to fulfill their agenda, because we were always looking for reciprocity, when without understanding that it was never meant to be that way. It was never intended. It was never intended for us to get reciprocity for the things we do. So now it becomes an issue, because now it's a deflecting and projecting talking points to move the goalpost to say it's about something else. And the guys are like, nah. We've taken all the notes. As far as like America's concerned, there's a general consensus like this country is financially going under, and so what? I mean, since we, because brothers haven't talked about the black farmers who were getting sold bad seeds and who had to sue about that, And in the years prior to that, we didn't talk about the black farmers who got reparations because they were froze out of their products being able to be sold to businesses, and so stuff like that, coupled with the first hired, first fired type thing, overworking guys, underpaying guys, bringing in immigrants to undercut guys who are skilled labor, who did all the right things. So we look at America as like, okay, you blew your financial opportunity, that's on you. Now you're gonna know what it's like to live like us. And you see guys, we talked about automation and how it's gonna affect everybody else and everybody in general. And you see people, not really taking it into consideration whatsoever. They just, it's all good. It's not gonna be all good. It's not gonna be all good. What I think a newspaper in New York let go half of its staff like yesterday. It's not gonna be all good, you know, because there is nobody. People are not thinking ahead. They're just caught in the times, and people are, when they're dealing with these issues, it's a problem. The same thing. I was out last night. And friends was talking about the brother that got shot in Florida for defending his wife, who got the fake ass stand your ground law, right? And for all the ladies who talk about men don't protect, we don't defend, blah blah blah, I don't see y'all talking about this guy, but we take inventory of stuff like that. And the sisters that got stabbed on a BART train, I get that. Same thing for the swirlers. I don't see y'all talking about that. You get what I'm saying? So we take inventory about that because when stuff like that happens, they never say a word. But at the same time, they say black men are the most abusive and all this. But it's like a story every month of a white man killing a black woman, whether they're dating or not. Is what it is. The immigration conversation. The whole thing about hold your own nuts is because the whole ideology of it is because we've taken inventory. Like, okay, you come here under the auspices of freedom and wanting a better life. No, well, I can't. That's a good thing. But when you black, you come here and you black when it's convenient, and then you not black when you get what you want. If you're non-black, you come here under affirmative action because we're all minorities, but then you discriminate against us using that stuff. So now when people, it's gonna be interesting because I see a lot of businesses popping up where I'm at because I'm in a well-off area, I would say. Not well off, but it's a good spot. I say that. But there's a lot of Asian businesses popping up, and I don't think they realize, how these people gonna mess with them. I really don't think they realize that. So it's gonna be interesting though. Now the other thing about that is this: we've taken inventory, about That's why I was going back to hold your own nuts, because when that happens, and they say, brother, not gonna happen. When the other immigrants, brother, not gonna happen. When the other of our own people who are who our own complexion, who our own skin color, who are our kinfolk, who are our own skin folk, they gonna say, brother, we gonna be like, been taking inventory, yo. We know how you get down, and that's a problem. I think the same thing makes our women uncomfortable because we've been taking inventory. All the loyalty, all the loyalty that they say they have, brothers been taking inventory. All the we got your back. We've always had your back. We supported you. And all the talking points, what we need to do for them, and guys, and why I say this is because guys have been taking inventory of the things that we've been speaking of the things we have done for them and got nothing in return. So, and the women don't ever speak of the things that were done. They just speak of us doing something else. And they never speak of of what they've done. They just say in blanket statements, oh, we had your back. Oh, we supported you. We are there for you. What does that actually mean? What have you actually done? Because when these guys talk, they just say, eventually we had sex. A lot of them don't say, if they had a downtime in life, a woman was there for them. A lot of them don't say, when they were struggling, these women supported them. A lot of these guys don't say, if they lost their job, these women, pointing them in the right direction. A lot of these guys aren't saying the very same things that these guys have done that would be considered having women's back, and they've done this for women. A lot of these guys can't say that a black woman in a position got them hired. I can actually say that about a black man and a black woman, to be perfectly honest. So that's the issue. Guys are taking inventory, and I think one of the things about it is it's making people uncomfortable because we're dealing with people after, in a sense of after we've taken inventory, like this is what it is. It wasn't. It's not a rational response. And now when people are like, well, we gonna act like this since y'all gonna act like that, but from our point of view, that's how you always been acting. It's just now you want to act like you gonna say you being brand new, but truth be told, this is how you've always been. And I think it's a little different because now that we take an inventory and we see that's how it's always been, it changes the way we treat people, because it's like, since this is how it's always been, I don't care what you just said yesterday, I'm gonna treat you like you knew this, because your response of acting brand new is like, well, since you gonna take inventory and respond to me now, I'm gonna, play this other little game to make it look like I didn't know what I was doing when I knew what I was doing. Like, okay. So this is why everybody in some shape, form, or fashion has to hold their own nuts, because black men have been taking inventory. So we out, yo. Peace.